Welcome back to the channel. Today we are working on the corn planter. This corn planter's been sitting for probably about 12 years. So it's got to get tore apart, things fixed, things replaced, and just brought back up into functioning condition. That's a dust cap that he's trying to get out there. The end of it is wore off, so. Alright, so here I'm just taking bolts off to remove the seed bins so I can actually clean up and make the actual seed feeding mechanism work correctly, because it's just a little rusty and it just needs to be cleaned up. And here I'm actually drilling the bolts out because the inside is completely rounded off because rust, it just ate the bolt away, so I had to drill them out instead of just taking them apart. As you can see here, everything's seized in, so I end up breaking a lot of the fasteners, and then I have to drill and retap things, so lots of fun.
Here's junk except this finger here. I gotta reuse this because I couldn't get it. That part. So I'll clean that up to reuse that part there. This is all junk. I have all new for it.
Alright, so here I am drilling and retapping holes. I was drilling out the bolt and then using the tap to sort of push the old bolt out and also clean up the threads, and it worked pretty good. For the most part, I had one or two that I may have went and taken threads out a little bit, but there was enough threads, so it was fine.
Oh, there's good enough good threads on there. One side's got threads, the other side is reamed out, but the back side, this side's got good threads, so just put a longer bolt in. They're not perfect, but they'll work. Just wanted to get them cleaned up enough that paint will stick.
So here I'm painting. I really should have used like a rusty metal primer or something like that for those pieces that still had a little bit of rust on them. And I just got impatient and just used normal paint without a primer. So we'll see how long they hold up. And there's those little pieces that you saw in the sandblasting clip. They actually turned out pretty nice. And here I'm reassembling the pieces that go and mount onto that one cast plate. And this just is all the little tiny pieces, a little better view of it. And I'm not entirely sure exactly what every piece does, just by assembling it I sort of got somewhat of an idea, but still don't have a complete understanding. And here's that piece that you saw in that sandblasting clip. Right there. It actually turned out really nice. I don't know. I don't know how they held up after planting. I haven't looked at them. Maybe I should. See if they survived. See if they have paint still on them. Here I'm bolting the bins back on and getting ready to actually go plant. Everything seems to be functioning correctly, so it's go time.
You want me to go slower?
So the reason they're actually behind it is to make sure that it's actually feeding the seed correctly. Making sure the seed cups are filling correctly and putting the seed in the ground. Make sure we're at the correct seed depth, and just to make sure we're being consistent on how much seed is going down and when. And we just did the whole half acre like this with me driving and my dad and brother just following behind and making sure it's going in. And here is the last pass, and we have a little bit of seed left, but not enough to be consistent, so it just wasn't worth to continue. Alright, so here I'm actually putting in some fence posts to put up some field fence, 4-foot tall field fence, and on top of the field fence I actually put a piece of high tensile wire just to give it a little more height to deter the deer. So far it's been working, and the corn's up probably 3 foot now, so thankfully that works because the deer would decimate the corn pretty quick. So all of these holes I actually went and used a auger to make. The only problem is the auger didn't get the dirt out of the hole, so it just made a hole maybe like a foot deep, and then the rest was loose dirt, which makes it a lot easier because normally it's very hard to dig holes for fence posts in our ground. It's usually rock after rock. Okay, and this is that 4-foot tall field fence I was talking about. In total, I used 990 feet worth, which is 3 rolls. And it went pretty smooth doing it this way. I actually went and turned too sharp and bound up the roll, so I actually bent the pipe that I was using. And that took all of like 3 seconds to bend. It took a lot longer to straighten it out. Like usual, you go and lose concentration for a second and it causes you a headache. And once I got that straightened out and got myself going in a straight line again, it wasn't too bad. And here's the end of the first roll. And I had 2 on me because I had the second one in the bucket, so all I had to do was put that on the pipe and tie them together and go back to unrolling rolls. So here I am with the last roll. The reason I switched to this method of unrolling is I had to run an errand and didn't feel like grabbing the tractor, so I just grabbed the 4-wheeler and this cart and put my homemade fence dolly, I guess you could call it. So it's actually made with 2 rotors with a piece of plywood with holes drilled in it with ball bearings in those holes. And it just allows it to spin very easily, but not too easily. And yeah, it's just a simple homemade contraption. In this clip here, I'm actually putting in some U-posts for in between the wood posts. They go in quicker, and also this is only a temporary spot, so I wasn't planning on leaving this fence here permanently. So here I actually already took off some of the shanks for this chisel plow, and now I'm taking off the points, and I'm going to put some sweeps on there to use this as a makeshift cultivator. It worked, not great, you'll see. It's a little hard to control with how far out behind the tractor it sits, so if you try and turn it all, you're moving that back tine a lot. As you can see here, it actually worked pretty good. The only problem is I did take out way more corn than I would have liked to, just to the fact that if you turn just a little, the back of the chisel plow will go into a row and you will lose a whole bunch of corn trying to correct it then. This is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for an update on the corn in a couple weeks.